It's another edition of KFC Radio on the Barstool Sports Network. Only one episode this week for the holiday. Also, only one episode because this is an important one. About to make a big announcement that probably would have been a bigger deal if two other shows on our network didn't do the exact same thing right before we could. In very typical John and Kevin fashion. Like, of course that happened, of course. But at the end of the year, we have made the decision to wrap up KFC Radio. So the next month or so, we'll spend our time, reminiscing and a little bit of nostalgia and kind of wrap things up nicely with a bow. And then on January 1, we'll start the new year fresh with new projects and new content and a whole new page. But in line with, the end of BFFs, and then literally as we sit down to record this, Kirk Minahan made the announcement that he's done with the KMS show. So,
dude, I was on the subway here, like I saw KMS show tweeting, and I was like, oh great, Kirk's back from his fucking mental health break, and it was like, we're ending the show, and I was like, I wish he himself.
You motherfucker.
Stole our thunder so easily.
Yeah, that is, but isn't that fitting? Isn't that like, it
and
is
honestly,
perfect.
and then I watched his ending of KMS show, and I was like, what a great ending. That was,
yeah,
he said
I haven't
he said
gotten
it
to see
right.
it yet, but
no, nice job. Like, still loves the job. Still, like, it was a perfect way to send off. And I was like, damn, he cucked us.
So when we do the
For
exact
record,
same thing in a month.
we decided this 6 months. We were the
Months
first
ago.
ones to decide this.
We canceled ourselves before all these guys canceled themselves. Yeah, it's something that we've been talking about for a while, and I think it's just the right time. Like, I think it's pretty clear as far from a business point of view that like the show plateaued, and on one level I was okay with that and thinking like, who cares? Let's just do this until the end of time. But then there's another side of me that's just like, I think we're just too young and there's too much left. You know? If we were like 50, I would say, let's do this until we die when there's 5 people watching. But especially with everything that's gone on with you, you have like so much ahead of you and such a bright future. And I'm too young to just be like, well, who cares? Like, we got to keep going up.
Dude, it's so funny. I hadn't thought of this comparison until you just said it like that. My dad, I forget if it was his cousin or someone he's close with related to, got very wealthy very young, and like retired at like 30 and got a job again at 40 because he's like
gotta do something.
he's like it sucks watching it just go down.
Yeah.
He's like, knowing that's just all you have for the rest.
Right.
And I was like, that's kind of how it was watching
Right.
Like, yeah, like I'm really enjoying this.
Money
but, like,
was views. Yeah.
It's just going down.
Yes.
So like, and exactly what you said, that guy got a new job because he was too young, and it was like, I guess, yeah, it probably is too young.
There's too much time left.
Yeah.
So I feel like knowing how everything shook out, I think part of why we watched it kind of dwindle was the industry we were in, really. Like all these guests all end up getting their own shows, all becoming megastars.
Yeah.
And whereas we were one of the few shows where you could get to, like, you got Bert and DeStefano and Tom and all these guys like early on. So at that point, we were kind of like a part of this rise of comedy.
Correct.
Looking back, I wonder if maybe I think I would have the foresight going forward now to say, like, we're on a wave right now there's going to be a bubble burst. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, like, in hindsight, I wonder if the smart move would have been like in 2020, like 2 or something, 3. I don't know what year exactly it would be. Where it's like, okay, all these guys have become megastars. They all have their own shows and live shows. There's a lot of competition. Like, we did that. Like, we did it. You know what I mean? We were a part of that, like, comedy revolution. Let's pivot to something else, you know?
Yes. I think that's what happened with most podcasts in like 2022, 2023. I think they all kind of pivoted to something else. I think they pivoted to like more of the video format, and I don't think we ever did.
Yeah,
I think we kind of stayed like
it was a video. It was a video
we put it on
offering
YouTube,
of an audio product.
But yeah. And then like the fucking, what was I just gonna say? Like they were. I feel like podcasts became more shows than podcasts.
Agreed.
And I think we kind of just stayed a podcast,
which is, I mean, on the one hand, I was, beating the YouTube drum like as loud as I could early on. That sometimes part of me feels like had we been allowed to really do YouTube when that was happening, like because well, here's an interesting question. If the numbers were up, would you still would we keep going? Because there's also a part of me that says
the numbers were still going up.
Yeah,
yeah, of course.
But there's also a part of me that's like, this isn't just success or failure driven. Like, if we were at our peak and you were like, I want to go do TV, that's a valid. It makes it a lot harder to walk away. You know what I mean? But
I guess that's true. Like, if the numbers are still going up, like.
But you felt like we were just still doing the same thing over and over again.
I probably would. I would still do it. But like it definitely just has a different feel to me now.
Totally.
Like it is more like kind of just like sitting around. I think people like to say like podcasting is over, and I don't think that's true. I think the podcasting the way we did it probably is on its way out.
Where it's just like a conversation,
like 3 hours of a kind of a rudderless conversation, which is the way I like to do it.
I love that.
But I think probably it is more
shorter,
and we've seen that forever.
Topic driven,
like that's been going on forever, and we've continued to ignore it because we don't like it.
Well, no, but we didn't do it well. But I mean, at least in terms of like the platforms and whatnot, we've always had the discussions of like, what should the thumbnail be and the title has to match your first topic, and how long should it be, and when you start to realize that if you do a 3-hour podcast, like an hour and 45 minutes of it, 2+ hours get fucking lost.
And I said ignore it. I didn't mean ignore it. I just meant like we keep doing what we like to do. Yes. I wouldn't want to do that. That wouldn't be fun for me.
Right.
We heard forever like segments and stuff like that, and we tried a couple, and I don't know. It just wasn't.
It wasn't
the
how
way we did the show.
Right. And I think that's also because when we did start it, like to me, the original podcasting was kind of a rudderless conversation. Mm-hmm. Like you have maybe some emails or some co-host to like pepper you with topics, but for most, it's like a stream of consciousness. And then when you have two people, it's like a conversation. And I think that's what people liked in the beginning for sure. And then, it's just, I don't think there's very few people alive who can do like a 3-hour show, and with all the competition and all of the other offerings that are out there right now, it's just hard to be like, come listen to us for 3+ hours while we just kind of go, I don't know, Joe Rogan can do it. Right. Joe Budden can do it. Some of those guys who are really, really established. And of course, I wish it was a world where that was as we're on that level where we could just do whatever we want. But I think once you realize you need to operate within the framework of like what is working on the current internet, it makes it hard to do what this show, or it's also hard to pivot the show at that point.
Yes.
We've been doing it for 13 years.
I think that's what it ultimately was too. Like when we like all stepped back and looked at it, and it was like there really isn't. We've pivoted so many times that it's like we're out of pivots.
Right.
You can't do.
You got to shoot or pass. Like we pivoted. I think that's a great thing. I think that what we did is it was a very cool story, and I think it's impressive. All said and done, to go through different hosts, different settings, different mediums, different times of the internet. We did try segments and games. We went guest heavy, no guests. Like we've done every iteration of it.
We did some wax on, wax off shit.
Yeah, for real.
You can do a lot of different things because it all changed within KFC Radio.
And I also really believe that like, a lot of the other shows that were around as long as we are, for the most part, I think, are like celebrities or people who had another career and then turned podcasting into like part of their media empires in a way. Whereas like this is what we did. It wasn't like listen to this guy was an athlete and this guy's a musician and this guy, it was just like this is just what we do. And I think that has a shelf life, you know what I mean? I think that it kind of runs its course. I mean, as far as I'm sure I think that most people assume when a show ends that there's drama, especially if there's a duo. Every radio show or podcast I've ever listened to that has a breakup is a breakup. You know what I mean? It's like you find out they don't talk to each other unless it's on the microphone, or they hate each other's guts. And
I always feel like that is overplayed, by the way.
You don't think they're as
well? It's because we talk on mics so much.
You don't need to talk
It
outside.
was like when I remember. I so remember Bert saying once many years ago, and he said it like on a podcast, and it went viral that like 99% of him and Joe's conversations have been on a podcast.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, they're not really friends. And it's like, well, no, we talk on a podcast 6 hours a week.
They talk.
Think how much you have to talk to your friends for that not to be 99% of the time.
You could go on if you go on a once a month, legitimately, maybe even more so, but certainly once a month, if you sat down on a show and talked to someone for 3 straight hours, that's more than you would talk to your friends if you added it all up.
For the whole year.
I
just talked to a buddy for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And I was like,
this is exhausting.
Bro, I haven't talked to you as much since high school.
Yes. So
what are your kids' names again?
Bro, that's funny you say that because I went to a Friendsgiving this weekend and we take a picture every year and I've watched it grow because of all the kids and shit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a fucking army. And but I was laughing. I was like, I don't know any of these kids' names. Fuck. These are like my best friends. I'm like, which one is that again? Is the older one or is the youngest one? What? Is that yours? You got 3? You got 4?
I did it
2?
before a wedding with nieces and nephews. I'm like,
Yeah.
what's your kid's name again?
It's like, yeah, you're my family. I don't know you are.
But wait.
But yeah, when you're talking on a mic or in front of a camera, maybe it's not the most honest and real conversation. I think for the most part, in our world, it is.
Yeah.
If you're like an athlete or something, you're like, the team can't hear me say certain things, all that shit. I would say, what percentage would you say you're honest on a podcast?
Oof.
Pretty high.
95.
I was going to say
9. Like,
I was going to say
I'll change
90.
names and locations occasionally, but like everything I say is pretty real.
The only thing, but like I think is with my personal life, I'm almost like 100% honest and change some names or whatever.
Yeah.
But like there's been business stuff and some things we're like, all right, we can't say that, or so there is stuff that we are not like lying about, but you just that's not for public.
I omit.
Omit.
Yeah.
So, but for us, it's like we are having some pretty not only honest, but like. You wouldn't necessarily just call your buddy and like talk about some of your insecurities or your moments
of the stuff
or whatever.
I say on the show, I would never
say
tell
to your
my friends.
Right.
Because my
I'm
friends
only
would
going to
go,
say this to hundreds of thousands of people. I'm not going to say this to my
friends
friend.
would go, why the fuck are you telling me that?
Right. So you can think whatever you want, but podcast conversations are bizarrely in depth and
weirdly intimate for
yes,
sure. For sure.
And then especially with us, like I don't know, by the time we're probably like 5 years in, I'm more comfortable talking to this guy than anybody in the world.
Right.
So, and I think it also really worked out that like we are, despite being very different in a lot of ways, like in the major issues and topics and shit, we're pretty aligned.
It was actually perfect.
Yeah,
They were,
enough different to make it interesting, but aligned on like almost everything.
I remember Tommy was saying that when he was on the podcast once, Pope, where he was like, why him and Chris work, because they're like very different. And he was like, I think we were talking about tell a story, Chris, which is still
one of the funniest.
Of our guest clips, those two might be my favorite. The Vittorio one, that's
so
still, you said you'd fuck anything. You said you'd ride anything. Well, I'm anything. That and the Chevy Chase one was just so goddamn funny.
Tell a story. I also wonder though sometimes, especially for you, like, I mean both of us, but you just being a little bit younger, it's a little bit chicken or the egg, where it's like, were you influencing the podcast, or was the podcast influencing you? You know?
What do you mean?
Like I'd have to imagine that. Doing most of your coming of age in your 20s, like on camera and on mic, probably influences like who you are as a person.
God,
like the show the show gets
Dude.
influenced by who you are as a person, but the show influences you on who you are as a person.
I was thinking about that the other day. That like how few people have what I have, which is and you do too, like an audio diary of my coming of age.
A living journal. Yeah.
Like this is 15 years, bro. If you like go back 7 years ago, you can just be on month spans of a guy spiraling out of control. You know what I mean? Like you can go back 5 years, go back fucking like I don't even know. Like you can go back and like you can see a man who was very unwell.
Brother, you want to talk about like, yeah, man. I think about now.
Like, that's cool. I'm never gonna go back and listen, but like it's very cool that now what exists, because other shows, like, if you're talking sports, you're talking movies, you're not talking about your own personal life and stuff like that. So like I think it's pretty goddamn rare that we talk about our personal lives a lot.
Bro, it's exceedingly rare.
That like, there's just a diary. There's a diary of John Feitelberg. He was recording his podcast twice a week, saying his emotions, saying what he cares. Again, I'll never listen to it, but like, it's wild that it exists.
Put it this way. If we ever make it, there's like, you know, when you see like, oh, look at this video of Taylor Swift at like a talent show when she was like 9. And it's like, oh, wow. It's like people love that. Like there's a treasure trove of that. If we ever really make it, it would be like, oh, we can watch these guys at their lowest, their highest, their youngest, their oldest, like all that shit. I think about now, if I went through, if some crazy shit happened to me, like when the cheating and divorce happened, I didn't miss a day. I was in on Monday for Barstool Radio. I think I personally missed that one episode. You did it solo. But other than that, I didn't even miss a beat. I would never do that now. I'd be like, yo, I got some shit going on. I'll be back in like a month, maybe more. Like there was nothing, and you know, probably I was about to say for better or worse, probably mostly for worse. There was nothing like that stopped the show. You know what I mean? Like we kept going. But it's so exceedingly rare. One of my favorite things about our careers, from not just podcasting, but all of it, is we, in the grand scheme of things, are like literally the first people to ever do this, like in human history.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying, I guess I shouldn't say literally, because there was, you know, the Joe Rogans and the Kevin Smiths and Tom Green and Chris Hardwick and the people who like really were the first people to do podcasting. But okay, we're like the 10th, you know what I mean? So in terms of this whole industry, and when you look 5, 10, 15, 20, 100 years down the line, we are the first people to do this. And also our generation with the internet as well. We're the first people to have our whole lives, or our, not our whole lives, but you know, our coming of age on the internet. And so we kind of are like a part of this like revolution, and there is this documented living diary of us that you can see it all. Like
I want like someone to go back and just be like particularly, I'm just thinking back to the years I really wasn't doing well. Like you could make a supercut of just every day me getting on a mic being like, gonna fucking
there was a lot of suicide talk. I think you
hey guys, gonna fucking what's up? It's Tuesday. Welcome to KFC Radio on the Barstool Sports Network. Gonna fucking someone do something.
Like this is a literal cry for help. I'm yelling, I'm crying, help.
Somebody come kidnapping me in my sleep, start shooting me up with ketamine.
By the way, speaking of that, real quick little detour, I saw this comic. I wish I knew his name, but I saw it on Instagram. He said, he was like, I used to really fucking party hard. I used to love cocaine. I used to love ketamine. And my friends, he goes, I used to shoot up ketamine. And all my friends say, damn, I didn't even know, like, I didn't even know you can inject that. And he goes, I find that funny because what are the horses snorting it? You gotta get the horse tranquilizer into the horse somehow. And they ain't
rolling up those like elementary school posters. Come on down here, Mr. Ed.
It's like this thick. But yeah, I think that's what we, like you said, we will never watch it.
Yeah.
If there's ever a reason that we need to, it's there, and that's cool. But I think for the fans, like the fans who really like us, I've almost always heard the same thing, and that is, like, I grew up with you.
Yeah.
I went through the same phases as you, or I'm younger than you, and I had like a blueprint, or I'm older than you, and I was like, oh, I was that guy once, and because we really were just living life as it came.
I was on the road this weekend, obviously, and yesterday we were at a civic center that also was having an anime convention, and we just kind of popped in. Steve from Blue's Clues was there, and I didn't really see him, but people were talking about it, and people like amongst the crew were talking about it, and I was listening to them talk about that, and I was like, oh, that's kind of like Catherine Blanford was like, I was literally raised by him.
Right.
Like she's like, I like from ages 5 to 9 or whatever the ages were. She's like, that was my babysitter.
Right.
Like that was what I did. I watched the TV and like that, and I was like, oh, I see how you get. Like, I guess we call them parasocial relationships now, but I'm sure it was just a different phrase back then.
That has like a negative connotation now because there are weirdos out there.
Yeah.
But if you're not a freak about it, I think it's actually a very cool thing.
Yeah, it's the same thing with Carson, where it was like, he's like, yeah, like we're inviting you into our homes. That's, I guess, is what is different that I get it with television. I always got that phrase, like, I'm inviting you into my home. I guess podcasting, I think, is a little different just because it's like, audio on the go.
I think it's more you're a fly on the wall to someone else's life.
Which is the most depressing thing about this goddamn job.
What?
It's when you're like, you have a good joke, you have a good episode, and you're like, great. Everyone's going to listen to that in the background while they do an Excel spreadsheet.
It's like they might not even actually hear it. They might not even
hear my line. They might hear my effort.
But okay, I agree with that because I learned all of this, by the way, by starting to listen to podcasts.
Yeah.
Like halfway through our run was when I first listened to podcasts.
I probably should have joined you on that one.
Yeah, but don't get me wrong. I never put anything into practice. But I did because at that point it was like old dog, new tricks. We were entrenched in what we do. But I started to realize, if for nothing else, I started to realize like, oh, this is what it feels like for our really big fans. Because like, there's a part of me that, like right now, I've been on a Joe Budden kick, and when I commute, and they do like a 3-hour show, so that gets me like a commute in, a commute out, and the next commute the next day. Like I get like 3 hours, three sessions. And there's a part of me that like really enjoys that. Like sometimes life's crazy. Like today, like I had to get the kids to school, and it was like hectic, we're late, rushing, and then I get in the car and I put it on and I'm like, whew, like for the next like hour, I'm doing this thing I want to do, you know? And you start to relate. They're a show that, you learn their personalities and their stories and all that. It's not just like talking about the topic of the day. It's like the people, you know? Yeah. And it made me realize like, oh, so if I feel this way about this show, like, what would I want them to do next? Or what would I want them to do different? Or why do I like it? Why do I, all that shit. And it was like, it's kind of like doing your own research in your own fields. And the best way to do that is just kind of become one of the fans. Right. And that made me, I was very proud to think that there are people out there that do that with us, where it's like that. There's even one person out there that has the feeling I have when it's like, I'm going to put on my show. It's like you and your grandma was like, I'm going to watch my program.
Watch my stories.
Yeah, my stories. And it's, what's it called? The soap operas. Like that's this version of that. And I think there's a great deal of people out there that feel that way about it, and like that.
I think they are because
awesome.
They fucking changed our lives. So I hope so.
Yeah, right. I hope.
Sure,
yeah, I hope
they're
so.
for sure out there. They for sure changed our lives. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and I know we kind of laugh about some of the really heartfelt messages. Sometimes people are like, I was gonna kill myself, and like I didn't. And some of these things that I'm like, whoa, I don't know how. Like, talking about would you like fuck a cow or a bull or something got you through that, but like I'm happy you did, and that's pretty fucking crazy.
I used to laugh at that, not laugh at it, but I kind of scoff at it, particularly when I wasn't doing well. And now that I'm in a better place, I like think back on that, and I'm like, wow, the fact that we were the people that were that thing to people,
to someone else, is
like because I kind of scoffed at it because I hadn't had that thing, right. So like I hadn't had.
I was projecting a little bit.
Yeah, I'm like. Fucking lame, but then I had something that made me go, oh wait, life's worth living. Yeah. And like to be that person for other people or to be that product for other people is fucking sick.
Yeah, it really is. Feeling. And I love that I think part of the whole story and even part of why we're ending it and the trajectory of the show, I think also has to do with like that crop of people aging with us. Yeah. And probably for business it would be better to like stay young and do, pair up with Josh Richards, like the way Dave did it. It's like get a younger audience and like do younger topics and all that sort of shit. Cause then you kind of have this evergreen, like it just keeps going. But I kind of like the fact that like there are people who are like, I started with you when I was like 18 and now I'm like married and have a kid or whatever. And obviously what comes with that is a lot of what I hear, not only is like you really helped me or like I've been listening to you and grew up with you. And then there's a third thing of I used to read every blog, listen to every show, follow every single thing. And then like life got in the way and there's not enough time in the day and all that stuff. So like I fell off a little bit and your show is like the one show I still watch or whatever. But the notion of like those being our fans who maybe aren't as much of a consumer anymore. Right. But like it kind of had a natural life cycle in a way. You know what I mean? Like it never became phony to the point that it was like, all right, we want to do the show this way, but we're going to switch it up because we got to get younger or keep growing or whatever.
I guess
we did what we do.
That was the time to address that. Like we did try and get younger with Jackie. Unfortunately, because of ending the show, she got fired. Which is that is the one negative of the show. Ending
Jackie's
the show
done.
Is that Jackie doesn't have a job anymore.
If
That's
there's
why
no
she's not
podcast to edit, you're fired.
Yeah. Jackie actually literally already went back to California. I don't know what she's gonna do, but she'll probably figure it out. She's a smart kid.
I hope things work out with Danny. I don't know. Could be a stay-at-home mom now. I don't know. Let him support you. I'm done supporting Jackie. On to the next one.
No, Jackie's obviously not fired. Jackie's home for Thanksgiving.
I didn't. We talked about that before, and I said to her, she was sort of like, I have a flight booked for like Friday to get back home, but I can stay to do the show. And I remember being like, no, that's silly. But then when time came to do this episode, I was like, oh wait, Jackie should absolutely be a part of this. And I'm not like mad at her. I'm just saying like, I think Jackie should be here. But she said to me like, she was like, I'll hop on a plane right now and come back if you really want me there. But I also think it's. but she did say like, I'm happy that I think it's good that it's just you two guys. So, which I think there's some merit to that too. It's like kind of how we started and how we're gonna end. There's two nice bookends to it. If you still have old school security, you're living in the past. Just like anything else, we have better technology, better processes in place, better ways to get the job done. Same thing with home security and SimpliSafe. Old school traditional systems wait until someone's broken in, until the windows are broken, until someone's in your house and they're harming you and your family or stealing your belongings, and then you hopefully like chase them out of there a little bit early. We want to stop that before it even happens, and that's what SimpliSafe does for you with alarms, sensors, lights, connected to law enforcement and all the agencies 24/7, so that if anyone's on your property lurking around your house, it detects that, it sets off the alarms and sensors. You can have the authorities speak through speakers and cameras, like, get off the property, we are coming, and it deters crime from ever happening in the first place while the intruder is still outside. There's the loud sirens. There's the big spotlights. It is like straight out of a cartoon when the burglar gets caught with that spotlight. Like, ooh. So that's the kind of safety you want for your house, your family, and your belongings. I've got SimpliSafe set up at my house, keeping Clancy Manor nice and safe, and you should do the same thing. Right now, they have their biggest sale of the year going on, 60% off your SimpliSafe entire package. And again, that means HD cameras, motion sensors, the lights, the speakers, the connection, all 24/7 for 60% off. And right now you can get that deal by going to simplisafe.com/KFC Radio. It's SIMPLI safe.com/KFC Radio. Get 60% off the best home security system in the game. There's no safe like SimpliSafe.
It was just us. Well, it was just you. Then it was just us. And then Dan came out like a couple months.
I think so. I think I
months?
did like I want to say like 15 episodes by myself, and then you joined, and then probably a couple months. And then there was also that period of like he did a couple episodes, but he wasn't showing his face yet and all that stuff. Yeah. So but we had a good run in there, which is so funny looking back because you said a couple times how nervous you were doing those episodes, right? We do a shot or whatever, and it's like
I like it was part like. Drinking was the thing we did.
Yeah.
And part I'm nervous.
Yeah.
But it was like I would drink like 3 beers on the show, like having beers on the show.
Yeah.
But sometimes I take a piss and rip a shot too. So it's like I didn't know probably ever the size of this show.
I definitely didn't rarely looked at numbers myself. I would always know what ballpark we're in though. But like the day-to-day, I really made an effort to not look at numbers because I did always want to just do the show we wanted to do within reason.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But like, until YouTube came around, then I would like have a general idea sometimes of how many people looked on YouTube. But like I never had a clue. Like I remember we had like the widget on the website. Yeah. Like I think I was telling Paz this recently. Like there would be times. So I guess never had a clue is the wrong thing. Because I would get information sometimes and I would go, that's not
no
right.
shot.
Like
podcast one numbers. Remember that?
It was like you got a million episodes, a million listeners an episode. It's like
no, we don't.
Probably not. Bro,
when
if so, it is not reflected in my salary.
So here's a funny story. One time, so I did have like a side deal with Dave early on with the podcast. It was more like it was all part of Barstool, New York. We had like a 70-30 split, 70 to him. If like Bud Light came on and they did like a package of 5 parties.
Yeah.
And it was like $100,000, let's say. So I got 30 of that. It wasn't that, but it was, that's the split. And so then when podcasting came about, at that point, LOL, I was sort of like, well, this is like beyond the scope of like blogging, so like this is extra, which is now funny thing. Like none of it's extra; it's all one fucking pot. But so I think we had an agreement that like that split would also apply to podcasting. But at that point, it was very little money, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But we put the widget on the website, meaning at this point, I mean, I don't even know if the kids like know what banner ads are and shit like that. But back when BarstoolSports.com was like our main piece of currency, you'd have banners on top and you'd have these little boxes on the side, and some of them would be like, click here for like Barstool DMV and click here for your blackout tour tickets. And then, sometimes an ad, and we put one that was a player. It was like, it said KFC Radio and had, stop, play, pause, that sort of thing. It looked like a little screen. And I think it auto-played. I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
So anybody who went to the site, and at that point we're getting millions of visitors, anybody who went to the site registered as like a listen. And so I remember, I think that was actually He Who Shall Not Be Named, Rihanna's Fat, was working with us at the time, and that was his idea. So it was like, okay, we're going to try this thing. And I remember saying, we'll see what happens. And the next day the numbers come in, and I think it was like 600,000 listens in like 5 hours. And I remember saying to Dave, well, that worked. And then we kind of started discussing like, if it's getting that many views and listens, like what could that mean for money? And I remember him being like, well, we're gonna have to like change something because you'll be like making more money than me if this is the case. I remember being like, well, that should just be the case. Then. Like that's, you are what you are. Like, but that was obviously very, very phony. And then when we joined Podcast One, that network is, I think Podcast One was just straight up like kind of shady and shiesty and inflating numbers. But also, even
everyone inflates numbers. Everything is fake. Well,
that's the thing. Yeah.
Everything is fake.
I do
remember when we had that with fucking. I feel like that's what always happens is like people think something is going crazy, so then really everyone starts doing it. But people only think it's going crazy because those numbers got inflated. It's like when like Facebook was doing everything, and literally the entire journalism and industry fired everyone who writes, and they're like, we're only hiring video people.
We're just gonna make Facebook videos.
And then Facebook was like, yeah, we faked all those numbers. No one actually watches those videos. And then it was like, never mind, sports. This is not the way journalism is going. It was like,
that's
everyone overreacts to
the latest craze.
One quarterly report. Mm-hmm. And it's like, whoa, just look back over the last 20 years and see how that stuff's gone. And maybe don't make any fucking rash decisions based on the reportings of a tech company.
That's one of my biggest regrets about the job in general is, especially when Chernin came in and we started hiring new people, business people, marketing people. And they were sort of like, they were very much like, you got to make things a thing, you got to take, if you make a joke, you got to put it on a t-shirt. If you do this, you got to make it into your brand. You got to label it. And I remember being like, okay, like that's what we're doing here. We've sold to this company, and it's time to like monetize these things and grow it into a brand. And so I was like, let's go. And in hindsight, like now, if somebody told me what to do, I'd be like, fucking no. Or yes, it's a good idea. I want to do it, but like, I'm not doing it just because you told me to.
Or it doesn't like, and not that this happened a lot. Like never do I have like a distinct memory of being like, this feels unnatural to me, I'm gonna do it. But nowadays, it's just age, and you're much more confident being like, that would not work for me. I'm not gonna try that.
Right.
Like, that doesn't fit my personality. That doesn't fit my goals. Like I'm not gonna do that.
I think only just recently have I really started to feel, and this is why I think everyone says like you get wisdom with age and shit like that. I'm only just now starting to feel like I've experienced enough in life to confidently speak on it. To just be like, I have been through relationship stuff, professional stuff, friendship stuff, money stuff, physical stuff, mental, all that shit, to the point that I think I could give you some advice or make a prediction on what's going to happen or something like that, But like up until this year, I'd be like, I don't know. You'd say so? Okay. Like, let me. I hope you're right. Like, it was almost more, I'll do it because I want this to be the case. I would love to think that we could just slap it on a t-shirt and put like a tagline on it, and we're gonna grow. So let's go. And then you realize like none of that's how this works.
It's very much. I've cited this line a couple of times. I always say I think it's from House of Cards, but I'm not 100% positive. It's from some political show, and it's it's someone's a senator for the first time. It's like their first day as senator. They're getting sworn in, and they're talking to an older senator, and they're like, "This is amazing." They walk around the Senate floor, and like, "This is incredible." And they're like, "For the first year, that's how you'll act."
Yeah.
And you'll go, "Wow, how did I get here?" And then for the rest of your life, you go, "How the fuck did everyone else get here?"
Oh, okay. Yeah. Even that. Yeah.
And like, there was definitely that phase of life where you're like, all right, these are the people, these are the experts.
They're
we'll
smart.
hire them.
Right.
And I don't think I'm smarter than them, but like now I'm like, now I know myself enough to go,
That's really it.
I'm not going to try that. That might work for other people. That doesn't work with what my
I also
is.
I also feel like we've been around enough people that were like supporting Cast here at Barstool in terms of business and finance and marketing and all that shit. That when 4, 5, 6, 10 of those come and go, you start to go, all right, everyone's just fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
And I appreciate and respect that.
But that's also like that. That's on me as a person for hearing, like, oh, we hired somebody and immediately assuming that they're a fucking genius,
right?
Because like every time I ever give advice, in my head it ends with, but I don't know.
But I don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah,
like and
the people who show up and don't throw out the disclaimer, they just say like, yes, this is what we're doing. I'm like, oh, you must be a genius.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, he got fired like 1 month later. It's like, oh, we radically changed our entire plan because of this guy who's no longer here. And so I think you start to realize in everything. I know our jobs are a little bit unique and probably not so relatable to other people working like regular corporate jobs. But in all walks of life, I think you eventually realize the only thing that will be there is you.
Yeah.
Or in this case, like a couple people. And it's like you have to be on board with it or know it or come up with it. Jackpocket is America's #1 lottery app.
Jackpocket.
Let's see what we got. We had dueling almost $1 billion jackpots the other day with Mega Millions and Powerball. Somebody won it, not me. I'll be honest, I'm getting a little bit sick of not winning the lottery. I would like that to change. Mega Millions is a paltry $70 million, but Powerball's back up to $681. So when Mega Millions goes down, Powerball's up, and they just keep on going. You almost always have an opportunity to get hundreds of millions of dollars with Jackpocket. It has all of your state-sponsored lottery games right available on your phone. So you just pick your game. I'm going to go order. I'll go with a $2 pick, slide to order, and we're done. Bam. Oh, no, wait. Looks like I need to add funds. Well, I'll be adding funds, and then that's all you got to do. Slide to deposit. So even that's easy because it's already connected to my bank account. So even when you run out of money, you're good to go. So everything's available right there on the app, whether you want to play the big boys or the local games. They have scratch tickets if you're in one of, I believe, 6 different states. So Jackpot is the best way. There we go. I just funded, so now I can slide. Order successful. As easy as it gets. Right now, you can get $5 in free lottery credits. So that means you can get one $5 ticket, a couple $2 tickets, whatever you want to spend it on. Use promo code KFC2 when you sign up and opt in. So download the Jackpocket app. Use promo code KFC2, the number 2, and you get $5 in free lottery credits that you can put towards all these jackpots. Make that money, baby. It's Jackpocket, America's #1 lottery app. I really don't have any regrets, but I just have things that I think I know would have been better. It's like I said, I think if we recognize that we're a part of a little bit of a fad and a bubble right now in that comedy revolution, like maybe we would have done things differently. And sometimes I'm thinking like, if we should have had like a couple agents and a manager and some of those things for where where we were getting to. It's like I think we probably needed another set of eyeballs and ears on this to tell us some of the things. But even that is like we just said, can you trust any of those people? I don't know.
Yeah.
But if we had someone, I at least for me, I was always just like, we got to keep making it and just keep going. And like there was never I never paused to be like, okay, this is going well, but like, what about a year from now, 2 years from now? 5, we got to make sure we do this right and handle that and don't let that happen. It was just like...
I didn't have any plans for those years. I was like, those years, I'm not going to be around for them.
So you guys can do that after my funeral, but I sometimes pride myself on how many different things we did, or I guess I should just speak for myself. It started with Mail Time and KFC Radio, and then like for a while I was doing Daily Mail, which is like those little mini podcasts, and then we did Quickies, and then there was the Mets podcast and Answer the Internet, and then there was CCK, Barstool Radio for a little bit in between there, then there was the Rundown. we're talking like 12 things I was doing. And I used to be like, I do it all. I can do it all. I wear many hats and I will never say no. Live shows, all that shit. And then I was thinking to myself, like, maybe I should have just been like, I'm just doing this.
Yeah.
I watched what happened with Foreplay. I always give Riggs so much credit. He got in the door as the political guy. Politics got crazy, and I don't think he wanted to be in the way politics is now. And golf was popping off for him, and he was like, I'm not doing anything else other than this thing that works. And while KFC Radio was always our main focus, I don't think it was like truly focused on,
Yeah.
But also, I like the fact that I did all those things as well, so like no regrets. But I definitely sometimes wonder, it's like the amount of people we were getting, viewers we were getting, the amount of guests we were getting, and some of the way I always think about when Bert was like, you guys are not on the same level, but you're the East Coast Rogan. And I was like, that should be a bigger deal, that one of the biggest comics is saying that about us. Like, let's really capitalize on that. And I don't know necessarily if we did as much as we could have there. I think we certainly did a fuck ton, but sometimes I'm like, yeah, maybe there was a little more meat on the bone that we could have, really done things when it was blowing up in the comedy world. But
there was also the thing with podcasting was always like I think everyone can like look at the last few years and be like, what was blowing up was insanity.
Yeah,
and it was like, I don't. You see things happening like you could do it, but you're like, I don't want to do it, and like I don't want to hear my opinions be taken a certain way and stuff like that. And it's not a fear of sharing an opinion, but just like I feel like the podcast world went so gossip. Yeah. And like so gossip to the point where like it wasn't even, we were doing gossip for things that aren't gossip. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like every topic was just like God, and it was like, where did you hear this? Like,
right.
And like the whole world would be replying to things.
And why does everyone? They do care, but why?
Yeah.
Like,
it's like that's true. You're right. That is insane. Where did you hear it?
Yeah.
And you'd be like, I don't know. I heard it.
Well, yeah, like fake news was probably all over the place, but we hadn't had the term fake news yet.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, I just think that there was podcasting. There's a lot of different roads like we could have gone.
And I say podcasting, but I just mean I mean that by like my purview of podcasting. Like the podcasts that end up on my feed.
Sure,
podcasting itself means
and like
television. Like there's a million kinds of shows. I mean our little corner
the
of the
like entertainment
world.
Podcasting world got like that. And yeah, I think that we could have done probably a little more grifting and something. Like I always even think about the fact that you would imagine
it is. Sorry, this is to still talk about like our neck of the podcasting world. I was thinking about this the other day. It is objectively the funniest thing in the history of the world that the anti-pedophile podcast just got the pedophile guy elected. That's the funniest thing in the history of the world. Yeah. That like
whoops.
Objectively speaking, because I was thinking about this where like I think Democrats and Republicans both consider the Manosphere podcast to be what elevated this election.
Yeah.
100% are like, we hate Epstein. We're not Epstein.
That was like their
like
core
we gotta
tenet.
get the list out. And then through their actions, the Epstein guy became president.
It's like 1 degree
objectively hysterical.
It's 1 degree separated from if they got actual Jeffrey Epstein elected. Hilarious. It is hilarious.
It's like it's the Revell tweet. It's like it's a sad state of affairs. It's also objectively
very funny state of affairs.
Yeah.
But I do think that exactly what you're talking about there. If you look at where the world is now with the anti-woke, fuck cancel culture, the amount of success those people had, when like that was our bag with pussification of America.
Yeah.
But it was more of a joke with us. And once I realized that those people doing that are at least pretending or actually feel like really this deeply about it, I was like, well, it's not that serious.
Yeah.
I don't care that much. But part of me thinks like, yeah, if we took that pussification of America and made that our brand, we would probably have been one of those,
But no, it wouldn't have, because like we wouldn't have meant it.
Well, right.
Like,
so
I guess
if
it's not genuine, if it's not authentic.
Yeah.
Like, I do think even the people who I disagree with and stuff like that, I think largely they're authentic. The popular ones.
Yeah.
Like,
but I'm just saying we were primed to like do that if we did feel that way.
Yeah.
But I really think that doing a show like this, or at least doing it as long as we did, like I don't think we could have faked this show. Like if we didn't get along, or if we were doing material that we really didn't agree with or like, you can do that for a couple years and get hot and get money. I don't think you can do it for 13.
I actually think I'm very bad at that. I think
Faking it?
I think I have been like, I think I've like for the last like 2 years, I think I've like sucked on this podcast because I think there'll be things where I'm like, I don't want to talk, and I don't think I'm good at playing.
Mm-hmm.
Like where it would be like, yo, do you see this relationship? I'd be like, I didn't know anything about that. And I'm like, that sucks. That's a fucking sucky podcast co-host.
No,
and
I don't. I mean, I would for sure not say you've sucked the last 2 years. As a matter of fact, I think you've only gotten better as you've gotten older and like more confident in what you say and do. But
being disconnected, where and it's like when it comes up, it's like I don't know.
I haven't even heard that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Right.
And then it's like, well, that leaves a pretty big hole in the show now.
But
you know
also,
what I mean?
the only thing worse than that would be if you were like, oh yeah, I saw that. It was crazy. And on the inside, you're like, I don't fucking care about this. You know? And that also was part of, I think, when we had discussions about wrapping it up. I think that was kind of, I think once that was out there and like, I was feeling it for a while from like a business point of view. I feel like we could do this. I'll sit down. I'll talk to you for an hour a week forever. We could just do it on a microphone or not on a microphone.
Yeah.
So I felt it, but like didn't really act on it. I think once it was spoken about and out there, it would be pretty hard to just be like, no, we're still gung-ho about this.
Yeah.
It's like, I think we all recognize that it's been a good run, and not only from a content point of view and like a personal point of view of just like growth and who we have become as people, but also from performance point of view, it was just time.
Yeah. It was actually, once it was said, it was kind of like, oh yeah, why did we wait long to say this?
I know.
Like it was
yeah,
this does make sense.
I've always wanted to be someone who maybe calls it a little bit early versus calling it late. And I think we probably, I mean, I'm sure there are some fans who think that we're calling it early and they're like, what are you talking about? I think we're probably somewhere in the middle of that, skewing a little bit towards late.
I would say we are a year to 2 years late.
Yeah. I think
probably a year.
But I think I wouldn't say 2. I would say 1.
I would say 1.
And I would say like 2 would have been a ballsy call to end it, and
2 would have been where ACDC, which ACDC did not end up doing.
But they were like, we're going out on top.
We're going out like this.
Yeah,
like 2 would have been like, we're going out.
It's hard to do that. It's hard to do that. There are some times I look back.
It never even crossed my mind at 2.
No.
At 1, I was probably like, this seems like it's going in the wrong direction. But at 2, it was never even in my head.
This is also why I said, like, I wonder if we had an agent or a manager or something more. Like, there are support at Barstool, but like a KFC Radio support team, right?
Yeah.
Because there's 2 ways to look at it. One, look at your growth or lack thereof. Look at the industry, where it's going, where it's headed, your skill set. What's best for, like, this show and brand to keep going. And then there is, this is your job. Go to fucking work.
Yes, exactly.
Got to make a paycheck.
Yeah.
And, especially podcasting at Barstool became like our bread and butter. Fucking 7 ads a show, 6, 7 ad reads, 2, 3 shows a week. If we ever did want to take off, it was always like, well, we've got 13 ads to like spread out now. And it would not have been easy to just be like, well, creatively, we're not feeling it. You know what I mean? But I think how we thought about it a little more like a band or music or something, when there are people who are like, you'll get the album when it's ready. We don't want to go on tour right now. We're doing what's best for the band, the music. I don't think we thought of it. At least I didn't. I was thinking of it as like, there was that element, but it was like, Dave's not going to pay me if I don't do this.
Yeah.
I
think that's something to think about. Like, everyone should always think about that. Like, you don't really think about the burnout of it. And I don't mean to use that as like the buzzword or... And I don't think it's what even happened to us, but I just think when people are working, particularly when you're younger, you're never like, I'll get sick of, like, I got to pace myself. It's just you're sitting down at dinner.
Take on as much as you can. Yes.
Like, I think that's probably like just a trait of anyone in their 20s. Like, you're going to binge whatever you're doing, be it TV, work, fucking drinking, drugs. You're going to be like, I'll take more, please.
All of it that you possibly can get in that moment. John, do you know what the 3 T's of Thanksgiving are?
Turkey. Talking. No.
You're not wrong with the talking. It's table.
Okay.
So you're talking around the table. Touchdowns, bro.
Touchdowns.
Touchdowns.
I knew it.
Turkey and football, man. DraftKings is doing their anytime touchdown for Thanksgiving. It's American culture at its finest. It's Thanksgiving plus football plus a little money. That is what America is based on these days. And DraftKings Sportsbook is the best place to get it done, where every touchdown could bring you closer to cashing in even before dessert hits. While you're still eating at the table, you could be winning money from anytime touchdowns on Thanksgiving Thursday through DraftKings. Big plays, bold calls, and bragging rights. Those are the 3 Bs. When the games get good, the bets get better. And the best part is right now for new customers, bet just $5. And if your bet hits, you get $200 in bonus bets instantly. All you got to do is pick a touchdown, man. Pick an anytime touchdown, throw down a Finsky. You get a couple $100 in bonus bets if your bet hits. So when touchdowns happen, we feast. That means download the DraftKings Sportsbook app today. Use promo code KFC. Bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. I think there's also a prime for it. Like, I think and I hope that we can podcast or record or do a video show or whatever iteration of this until, we're of retirement age. But again, we're kind of like the first to do it, and there's been radio hosts and shit, but we're the first to really do it on the internet.
You saying the prime age reminded me of Dave misspeaking and saying the same thing. I think at my age, right? Because that was probably when I got hired. Not like hired. I started when I was 21, but I probably got hired at 25, maybe something like that.
Was it really that different? Like when you were
when
intern?
I officially got a salary, a paycheck from Barstool Sports.
You started as an intern and then kept doing content the whole time, right? You
didn't. No, I started,
but you didn't get money until
I didn't get. It was I think it was it was a year of no pay, and then I think it was a year or 2 of Dave just giving me cash,
right?
And then it was a couple of years before I was a Barstool Sports employee,
right?
And why am I saying this?
The prime.
Yes, and Dave at that time when I became an employee, Dave. I remember he had done an AMA on Reddit or something like that, and it was asking about the future of the company. And he might have said something like this a few times, but I remember this in particular. And he was like, "There's a prime to this to doing content. Yeah. I'm getting to the end of it. Hopefully, Feitelberg can be the next guy or whatever." But at that time, Dave was my age currently,
right?
Just 36, 37, I think. And I think we just think of it in such a vacuum, such a bubble. Where content only means what I'm doing right now, and being an entertainer means so much more.
Right.
Yeah, Dave's form of content of doing smoke show at the time when he said it, of doing smoke show of the days, guess that ass,
March Madness parties.
Yeah, there is a fucking finite number for when to do that.
But
content.
now he's doing finance streams and
but
politics.
Then you do more.
You can do that
you
when
can
you're
do content
50.
your whole life. It's
totally.
just you should age with it.
And that's where I do again think that we're kind of the first people on the internet to do it. There's been radio hosts and television hosts and entertainers of all kinds, but to be that daily, I put shit out every single day, and when it starts, it's I'm talking about fucking girls and partying, and then it becomes, and that's why I say there is a prime, because it's there's certainly a market to talk about parenting and shit like that.
Yeah.
I don't think it's as vociferous as the young,
but also you might there might be another thing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
You
don't even know.
Yeah, you just have to keep being in it.
At no point in my life have I had a job that I could have prepared myself for.
Right.
I could have prepared myself for things and being an entertainer, but
not that specific.
I couldn't grow up and hope I was going to be a podcaster.
Right.
Or, I guess now, hopefully, moving more towards professions that have existed, and comedian and stuff like that.
Right.
But very largely, nothing in my career up to date could I have done something that prepared me for it.
Right.
Because the job just didn't exist.
Well, that's what you're describing is a true pioneer trailblazer where it's
but
there is
at
no
the same
blueprint.
time, it's radio.
It is, but it's not very few people were ever around the clock, different mediums every day. Radio, if we were just podcasters, yes, you could point. Mike and the Mad Dog were on a duo doing radio for multiple hours a day, every day. You could point to that. But were they also writing? Were they live tweeting? Were they did all the little things that went along with it are just you never stopped. And I think there is burnout in that. In that regard.
And that's kind of what my larger point was. I don't think it's what happened to us, but it people should be aware of it.
Yeah.
I was talking to Pavs about it with mascots, where it's just we gotta watch ourselves.
Yes,
and I was probably talking to Pavs about it just so I was hearing it myself,
speaking
too.
out loud to yourself.
But let's
that's experience. What you're describing is 100% experience.
Yeah.
Where it's I know I feel this way right now, but I'm gonna feel this way in a couple months. Until you've gone
Don't
through those
have
couple months.
100 of these, so we're puking in the morning.
Yeah, right. Yes, that is experience and maturity. But as far as like the prime goes, like I think I still work pretty hard and I'm pretty committed. But I look back on those weeks where it used to be like 2 full episodes, like a couple quickies, probably 2 or 3 interviews, and that was just KFC Radio.
Right.
And then everything else that went along with it.
KFC Radio, you were doing things where you had like 5 other jobs, and I was like, I don't know how Kevin's doing other shit. I'm just doing this, and this is fucking a lot.
I could not imagine doing it now.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess the difference is kids and all that sort of shit. Like when I was home, I was just chilling, you know?
Yeah.
So then I would ramp up all my energy. And also, and not that I don't enjoy myself now, but I loved it. I fucking loved it. Like I never anticipated it. It wasn't something I like dreamed of as a kid, but once I started doing it, and even while I was doing it, I was never like, I fucking love this, man. But I was always wanted more and took on more and said yes to everything. And then, like to do that now, if it was like I almost need, like our schedule now kind of works out. It's like a day in between to do some shit at home and all that stuff. If it was, when Kelly was here booking guests for us and it was like, can you take this person at 2 and this person at 4 and then tomorrow this at 9? And yes. Like, it was never a no. I think it's very cool. I romanticize a lot of it. Like I think there's a real story to be told on the whole thing where we were like young, dumb kids, a little bit of talent, but mostly a lot of luck, a lot of good timing, fell into the right like lane. I remember my brother, I remember saying, Big J Okerson and Tom Segura are 2 comedians who like I really think you should like look at. And I had heard their name, definitely heard of Big J, and I was like, yeah, like cool, check it out. And at that point, I wasn't the type to watch specials and go to shows and all that sort of stuff. I
actually was funny. It's funny. I was thinking about that the other day, where like of all the luck, like where we got so lucky, where like I feel like what I like was like the comedy. I've always liked comedy.
Yeah.
And I think what you've always liked is like the fighting, the radio.
Yeah.
And we got so lucky that they both worked.
Yeah.
Like they became the same thing.
That's a great point. Yeah, because that was the one thing I always did was listen to Mike and the Dog, and like I knew the other radio hosts and the radio wars and all that.
And I didn't know any of that. Like my dad listened to EI, but like I wasn't really a sports talk guy. I liked comedy stuff, and just those 2 worlds became the same world.
That's what I mean.
For a decade.
I think that's very cool. I think that's very awesome. I think that KFC Radio has always been a little bit of like a subset of Barstool. And I think the fans who like us, I think would recognize all that and think that that's cool and appreciate that. I think sometimes the larger Barstool audience, I don't know, either didn't like us or like didn't pay attention to us.
Oh, you want to hear something super fucking embarrassing?
Oh God,
not even embarrassing.
Can I say no?
No, it's about me.
Oh, okay.
I gave a tour yesterday to a family that had won a Team Impact. Shout out Team Impact charity. And it was a couple of younger kids, like high school kids, maybe borderline college. And
tour here?
Yeah, okay. Toured the office yesterday, like 4.
I don't know what else you would have toured. But
yeah. And I was showing them around, showing them some stuff, and they see the Saturdays of the Boys flag, and brother, they lit up.
Really?
Like, and the mom was nuts. She's like, "This is the original flag," and they were like, "No way!" And I was like, "Oh, you guys like this shit?" And they were like, "Yeah." I was like, "I made like, this is me." They're like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, I didn't know people like this." I was like, "Yeah, that's my thing." And they're like,
I could kill you, bro. I could kill you. Bro, you want to talk about what I just said about, like, if we went all in on KFC Radio, like, we should have recognized that we had a good thing going. You had Saturdays for the fucking boys. That should have been like, I'm not doing anything ever again unless it involves the letters SAFTB. Like, this is it, man. But we
tried that. We were gonna change the name of KFC Radio to For the Boys, and we were told no.
We should have done that. And then a couple
we
guys
were told
came
that's bad brand. We had too much brand equity in this, and to change it to For the Boys would be a silly idea. And we were like, okay, we'll listen to the experts. We probably should have gone with our gut on that one.
Yeah, and considering that 2 guys came in like a minute later with that podcast title and then got like, $60 million.
They were like, you guys shouldn't change. We're hiring some guys who we're going to give that one to.
But you know what? That's an interesting thing, too. This is a good lesson I learned. Actually, I don't know. I'm somewhere in the middle on this. I want to hear your opinion. I also remember, so yes, we were told that KFC Radio, you know what that did? That like played upon my ego a little bit. Erica was like, too many people know KFC Radio. Like they like KFC Radio and that's the name. And if you change it, like what, and I remember being like, oh yeah, like everybody knows that. You know what I mean? But I also remember thinking at that point, Saturdays for the Boys was like, let's go shotgun a beer and funnel and fuck and party. And I was like, at this point, looking back, I was young enough that like I could still be a bro and a boy, But I was like, if you come to For the Boys podcast and it's me, like I'm married and we're not really out and about at the clubs and the bars.
But I think at that point, we were still at the old office.
Yeah.
So that if it was For the Boys, because then we started doing like the Burt stuff, and we were drinking podcasts for a while.
Well, that's the thing. Is like we could have
from that moment.
We became
from where we were like, should we go For the Boys? From that moment for like the next 5 years, like we were drinking. We were podcasts where like
Whistle
people came on and were
Pig
like,
fucking,
let's get a whiskey. Like,
yes.
we were drinking on the show at like 11 a.m. all the time.
Right. Even up to like Amsterdam. We were the podcasters that like when like Burt Kreischer, you think about him planning out a party event. He was like, we need those two guys.
Yeah.
Like we were that. But so that's why I was gonna say part of me, I was like, I don't think I could fake it, like you said. Like, I don't know. I think every day I would have been feeling like a poser. Like, if the college bros are tuning into this, they ain't looking for me. In hindsight, A, that doesn't matter. It's just a good name and good branding. Fuck it. It just would have been a more successful brand because of that name. And B, like, you probably are more of that than you realize. So, I don't know. In the one sense, I'm, like, proud that we stayed true to ourselves and didn't fake something that we felt was a little off. And on the other hand, I think had a little bit of experience, I would have been like, it doesn't really fucking matter.
Yeah.
It's just a really well-known, if you just called the podcast, Saturdays are for the Boys podcast. Search engine optimization alone, you're doing better. Like, there's so many things. Factor Meals is back, baby. Winter always feels like a reset, especially with the holidays coming. And then you get New Year's resolutions after the new year begins. Your routine is getting busy, shorter days, colder nights. It is time to switch up the routine. And while you're doing all that, it's tough to make meals, cook, clean, go to the grocery store, do the dishes, all of that. So while you're trying to do your new resolutions, while you're trying to get through the seasonal depression, while you're trying to navigate all that comes with the busy, busy winter, Factor will deliver chef-prepared meals, dietitian-approved meals, so you can stay on track, eat good meals, achieve your goals, and have no headache. These meals, there's more variety, which means there's more meals to choose from. There's a wider selection of weekly meal options. They have premium seafood choices. They have salmon and shrimp. They also have different diets, different allergies, different preferences, all at no extra cost. They support your wellness goals. Enjoy even more GLP-1 friendly. So if you're on the shot, there's the Mediterranean diet that's packed with protein and things that are good for you. And they also have global flavors, so you can try new things for the first time. Asian-inspired meals, bold flavors influenced by China and Thailand, and more. I love Factor. Every time I see it, it reminds me of Survivor. That buffalo chicken dip, I think about it daily. The Baja chicken, so good. The steak, so good. I don't know how they do it. All you got to do is pop a couple holes in the plastic, put it in the microwave, and you have like a restaurant quality meal in a matter of just a couple minutes in the microwave. I don't know how they do it. Like, I know you thought of like microwaving a steak. You're like, that can't be that good. And usually it's not. With Factor, it is. It's unbelievable. So eat smart at factormeals.com/KFC50off. Then you use code KFC50off, KFC50OFF, and you get 50% off your first box plus free breakfast for 1 year. That's factormeals.com/KFC50off, promo code KFC50off, and get delicious, ready-to-eat meals delivered with Factor. Offer only valid for new Factor customers with code and qualifying auto-renewing subscription purchase. So, yeah, there's a lot of, like, coulda, shoulda, wouldas.
And I honestly don't think any of them would have made that big a difference.
I think sometimes that one irks me a little bit. Like, sometimes I think it wouldn't have just been as simple as, like, a name change, like, pshoom. But sometimes I'm like, I think that was the moment to recognize, like, the name KFC Radio was, like, so outdated in the sense of, like, I had initials back in the day listening to like WFAN, or like there was a news station KYW. It was just like letters was the thing. So I was just like, I don't have a name for this. I want it to be my thing, get my name out there a little bit, like KFC Radio. And then it went, and it was always confusing and a bad name and all that shit. And so there is part of me that's always like, if we changed the name and then also that like shifted the content a little bit, like what does a For the Boys podcast look like more? Maybe it would have been different. Maybe not. Yeah. But like that, if there was ever a moment,
become us having porn stars on, calling them whores. Like, what's that podcast? You know what I
mean? Those two dudes are just like, they're
like, you're a slut.
Whatever show, or whatever. Right? Yeah. Dude, that guy, did you see that girl fucking flame him this past week?
No.
Her name's Charlie. Andrew Wilson is the guy we're talking about. I think there's two of them, but I know one of them's names. And
I actually didn't know it was still a show. I just remember that.
Yeah, no, they're still doing it. They just bring on OnlyFans girls, and they'll just be like, "Do you really think that you're like a real human? You're not."
But like the funny thing of it has to be the only reason the OnlyFans girls go on is because obviously this guy's entire audience is a bunch of fucking perverts,
and they're all about my OnlyFans.
Shitload of OnlyFans.
I mean, they get absolutely berated, and they walk out of there like, "Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Let me know if I can
now
come back."
I make $1 million a year. See
Absolutely. But this one girl was more. She was not. She was like debating. I think she's a comedian or something. I don't know. But she at one point she just goes, "Your wife has been married 3 times and has 3 kids by 2 different baby daddies, and I've never seen someone get more rattled more quickly than that." He goes, "Shut your fucking mouth," literally, like what we were just talking about. He's like, "Shut your fucking mouth, whore." Oh, and yeah, she's like, and you know, she has 3 kids by 2 different daddies, and you eat sniz. You eat sniz, you whore. You eat sniz.
What does that mean?
Eat pussy. Like, I guess she's a lesbian. And it was just like, for, you know, those guys are always like, I'll debate anyone anytime, and I can like run circles around everyone intellectually. And it was like, this woman just brought up like who your wife is, and you collapsed into yourself, dude.
Okay, well, in that case, it's a pretty good for his argument that it's taken years for someone to Google him first.
I guess so. I'm like, yeah, why didn't any of these girls use that?
Just tell him his wife fucked other people, and that seems to be the end of the argument.
That's it, dude. But that would have been the only time that I think that there was could have really changed the trajectory of the show or something like that. Other than that, I just think we did our thing. Fell into line with the comedy.
I think all this, like the changing of names, is like anything where it's like, oh, if I get new clothes, I'll be different. It's like, nah, you're still you.
It's getting a new, you know, coat of paint on an apartment or whatever. It's like it's still, but that can help. But yeah, it's not going to fundamentally change who we are or what we did. And yeah, I mean, we'll go through all of the kind of iterations of it. Different hosts, different producers, different rooms, different offices, different lengths, styles. There's a lot, and I hope that you know, the fans and the diehard listeners, like if you have any, I think what we're gonna do is we'll do a regular podcast moving forward for the month, but each day we'll also have kind of a reminiscing session. So if there are moments, clips, favorite jokes, favorite things, you know, whatever it may be.
We probably have 8 iterations of the show, right? Like we should do
8?
Probably something close.
You think so?
Right? Like we should try and do something where like every episode we have a half hour where we do reminiscing of that.
Oh, because we have 8 episodes of yeah.
Right. So there's Dan, there's you solo, there's me and you, there's Dan, there's Asa, there's us with guests.
The old office, like the cigarette inside, burnt cigarette. Yeah, then this room, then this 6,
room. 7. I think that's 8.
Yeah.
I think like maybe get like a few highlights from each room and each group, and we'll talk about those for a half hour.
So the internet era was like a thing.
Yeah.
Even that, man. Nate was just saying to me, he's like, you know, he was like, you guys were getting millions of views on YouTube, hundreds of thousands of subscribers. We put out a physical product associated with it. He was like, for most people, that's like a year of work and like their sole focus of their career. And for us, that was like our 5th thing. Oh yeah, we got to do Answer the Internet real quick. You know?
Yeah. Well, so like, honestly, like reminiscing and talking about all these things is really great. Cause it's like, oh yeah, we'll just do that again. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like just because like you've done things doesn't mean you're not gonna like
there's gonna be more ideas.
I'll
there's gonna
do
be more
10 other fucking things where I didn't even plan for and go, oh yeah, that'll be huge. And that'll be huge.
The only thing I will say is I think that was the perfect time. It is, you know. Let me back up because I do think we are one of the maybe only. I'm trying to think of shows that are and this is probably not a good thing when I finish the sentence, but like I don't think there's many shows that started when we started that had like the run that we had where it's still just two regular guys.
Like,
I think everybody who was like, they became like mega stars.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So it's probably not a good thing. I wish that we did not have this. But I do think that like podcasting kind of started as regular people doing regular conversations. And that's what people liked. Inviting you in my living room, fly on the wall. These guys talk like regular guys. It sounds like me and my friends, all that shit. And that's hard now. Like, I don't know if you could, if we started today where it's like, would I just listen to these two guys who, they're relatable and they look like me and my friends, they sound like me and my friends, or should I go listen to the NBA players telling the inside stories of the locker room, or the music podcast that, has on the greatest or the hottest chick, or the people talking about fucking and all that shit, where it's like all very star driven. It's almost to the point, part of me feels like when we were growing up, you were never like, oh, I'll just become a Hollywood actor. Like I'll just do that. You were like, that's a one in a zillion.
Yeah.
I can't just become Leonardo DiCaprio.
Right.
Where it's like, you really could just get a mic and get a camera. It was more about the people willing to do it every week. But like regular people could have done that. I don't know if that can happen anymore. So in the one regard, I think there will be new ideas and new opportunities because there's so many people trying to make money off of it. And like, if someone thinks there's an avenue to make opportunities and money off of you, they will do it and they will give it to you. On the flip side, it's like, it's a lot harder to just be like, let's fucking try this thing, let's try that thing, and like, who knows, and it'll pop off because it's.
Well, you think it's harder now?
I think it's harder to like barriers of entry and things are all gone. All you need is like a phone and a little bit of commitment. I think it's harder to like cut through the amount of competition there is.
That
Whereas,
I've heard compared to it was basically saying to entertainers, welcome to the life of a book writer. Because that's how
so anybody
it's been
can write a
for
book,
being an author. Like, anybody can write a book. Can you sell a book? That's a fucking different thing.
Like, I even wonder. Answer the Internet always kind of is in the back of my head too, because I look at.
I call them a book writer, by the way.
They call those authors.
I meant author. Yeah.
a
word book writer.
A word paper writer. But like, there's Search Bar and It Girl and GQ has a thing, and all those like similar type of that format of shows, you know, and there's a lot of those now. And like at the time, there wasn't many, or if any, and so that one like popped off, I think, because it was a good product and good guests, but it's also the timing, and so the timing being different, I think changes a lot as well. But so it's all together easier and I think harder at the same time. But I hope that there's more like, especially so you have some wisdom and some maturity and some experience now, and couple that with some opportunities that come your way, and you would hope that there's even more to come. I wonder, like, I'm prone to what you were describing earlier of like, theoretically, when I look at you, when I look at other people, not myself, I look at you and I'm like, you started the comedy thing, you started the acting thing, you've only just grown into your own skin and like your own self. Like, your best years are ahead of you. Your the biggest part of your career. I've always said this, that like, I think you'll look back and be like, oh, I got my start at Barstool, but that's not like what I'm remembered for, or like what I really am, you know? Maybe that's true, maybe it's not, but I think it's on the table.
I think it's probably not true, but I know what you're saying.
Yeah, it's possible. I don't think that about myself. I can think that about other people. I can always look and be like, oh, this guy's going to direct movies soon. And like, Jackie's going to be a superstar. And then with me, I'm like, I probably had my best run. I think it's over for me. Like, this is it. This is all downhill from here. And I'm like, hopefully take all of this knowledge and all, the experience and put it together with the next ideas. And like I think the next podcast, video, show, whatever it is, should be even bigger and better. But it is a little hard to do and a little bit scary and all that sort of shit.
That's scary. That's where the
fun
that's
the juice. That's the juice. Yeah.
That's scary. That's the fun shit. That's the fucking, you're on the airplane, doors open. You're like, I'm already up here. I got to jump, I guess. You know what I mean? Like I wanted to go skydiving. Now I'm fucking 15,000 feet in the air.
It's time to go.
I don't have nothing I can do but roll. Like, roll out and fucking...
that's kind of what we're doing now. It's like we could have just kept going on this plane forever. Let's fucking jump out. Let's fucking jump out. The holidays are here, and when you reach the point in my life where you have family and kids, and then grandparents, and you have in-laws that want to see the kids, and your brothers and sisters, and everyone wants to see the baby, see the kids. Well, that's not always possible, right? But it is with AuraFrames. AuraFrames is a digital picture frame that you can give out to your family, give out to your loved ones. You can download all of your pictures from your phone onto this picture frame and have a slideshow going so that it updates with new pictures and videos, and it's constantly shuffling through so, the grandparents can see their grandkids whenever they want with their AuraFrames. You can redeem yourself this year by giving the gift of AuraFrames. You can personalize it, add a message before it arrives. There's a gift box included. Premium gift wrapping, no price tag attached, so it looks, classy as a nice gift to give. And you can share the videos and pictures effortlessly, like I said, all from your phone all year long. So don't wait. Win the holidays now with AuraFrames. For a limited time, you can visit AuraFrames.com, A-U-R-A frames.com, and get $45 off Aura's best-selling Carver matte frame. They have different borders, different colors, different materials. The Carver matte frame, you can get $45 off. It's the number one frame they have by using promo code KFC at checkout. That's AuraFrames.com, promo code KFC at checkout. Get $45 off the Carver matte frame. They have exclusive Black Friday and Cyber Monday deals going on this year, so order now before it ends and support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply. That's AuraFrames.com, promo code KFC. So, yeah, I hope that I think it felt very natural for, the whole gang. There wasn't anybody in our team that was like, what? No, we can't. We can't. Everyone was just sort of like, yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
That was I actually, to this, still, no one has said to me, you sure?
Yeah. Right? Which is a good sign.
I don't think anyone has said in the group, you sure? I don't think, I really haven't spoken to anybody. I think you've talked to Dave. I imagine we're okay. I think we're still going to have jobs.
So when it first came up, I was like, I think it's time to end it, but we should talk to Dave first because I do think this is one of those, this falls under the, you got to make a paycheck. Sort of thing. And then that never ended up happening. But what did end up happening was he texted me about studio space because they were trying to look for room for Pat Bev. And he was like, what's your plan? And I think he knew what the plan was at that point. I think MB had talked to him or something.
Yeah.
So I said to him, we're actually going to wrap up at the end of the year. So, if we need to shift around studios, whatever's best for the team sort of thing. So he does know.
Yeah.
And he didn't say in that moment, are you fucking crazy?
That's a perfect example. You can never predict the future.
Yeah. Not really going to have to worry about splitting the studio anymore. That's a story for another day. But yeah, there was some madness going on with the Patrick Beverly show and for about a week or two before that quickly got nipped in the bud.
Yeah, you gotta give him credit. He's better at going viral.
So
we said, right?
Those motherfuckers don't go viral. You're right, Pat. We don't go viral like you, bro. You are absolutely right on that one. Yeah, I and not to take it in a bad way, because I've also told people, and they were like, "Whoa, end of an era." It wasn't like "Are you guys out of your fucking minds?" But they were just like, it also wasn't like, "Oh, okay, whatever." You know, I think people, at least in here, and again, hopefully the fans recognize that it certainly is like the end of an era and the closing of a chapter that's worthy of talking about and reminiscing about and all that stuff. But it felt like it's time, and as much as it feels like some people might think it was a little early, I think it was a little bit late, but I would always rather go out. I would really have hated if we truly limped to the finish line. Like I said, it's plateaued or numbers are down, but it's not like, oh, these guys.
It actually is funny. I was sitting here. I think we were sitting here with Nate the other day, and because he's the editor, he has access to the back end. And I was like, by the way, can you just what? I've never even looked. Check the KFC Radio back end, and he goes, people would kill for these numbers.
I know.
I was like, don't tell me that. Never
mind. That's always been another thing of mine where I'm in two different frame of minds. One side, I love. Two things I always really loved. One, we were in the comedy, what's that called? The comedy section category of iTunes.
Yes.
And that was the heavy hitters. It was very hard to be top 10, number one, because you're dealing with the best and biggest and funniest podcasts in the world. But I liked that we were in the major leagues. It's we could be dominating AAA if we were we put our podcast in the government and culture section, and we'd be number one.
By the way, speaking of that, I've meant to say this because it quietly happened, I to me at least. Son of a Boy Dad's a top 25. They're where we were.
Yeah,
they've become the comedy podcast at Barstool. I was saying it to Owen the other day. I was like, while we were making mascots, you
put together
became the
great
producer
franchise.
of like one of the best comedy podcasts in the world.
Right.
Obviously, because of Sass and Roan and Francis, like they're I get why, but it was like, oh, like now within our office we've been passed. Now it's definitely time.
Yeah.
Like, all right, we're probably
and that's
the
natural life
past
cycle
or whatever you want to call it. But like, yeah, there's someone else doing what we did. Time to find a new lane.
Right. But I like that we were in that category, in that world. And then also at Barstool, it was like we're one of the franchises, and of course didn't achieve the level of success and money that some of the heavy hitters did. But it was always like we're in that conversation or got that same treatment or respect or expectations is really what it is. Like I liked that people expected us to get there. Did we? No. But like the fact that it was even what the goal was rather than being, I guess big fish in a small pond sort of thing. So, yeah, I think it's time, and I think it'll be fun doing like the last month with that in mind. I think there'll be some fun memories that come up and the fans interacting and all that, and then we'll put a little bow on it. In January 1st is like the end goal or end date, and then 26 is we're already talking about rearranging the studio to be able to shoot like your new show and my new show, and so we'll just be like creating content in the same room, like at the same time, just not on the same couch or whatever is really what it comes down to. So, yeah. All right. So this is the farewell tour. We're on our Derek Jeter, Kobe Bryant farewell tour. If anyone wants to get me like a 46-inch TV or a surfboard or a bike or one of those gifts, we are accepting any and all farewell tour gifts if you'd like to send them in. And yeah, if there's any like moments or,
yeah, we probably go back to
whatever.
voicemails for like the reminiscent.
Yeah, we should do that actually.
So, like,
yeah,
I got a list of all the classic hypotheticals and would you rather's.
That's another one. I'm like, we fucking like invented that.
Yeah,
world.
yeah.
There's definitely some things that we were at the forefront of that'll be fun to go back.
Yeah, and if anybody has moments that they'd like to bring back, DM me because I'll get them and I'll make sure they get brought up on the show.
What's your handle?
Mikey Pavs,
Mikey
2
Pavs.
S's. Yep.
With 2 S's. Mikey Pavs with 2 S's. Send them to, or DM me as well. Send them and we'll play them and talk about them. Because that's the other thing. There's just like, there's guests I forget about.
Yeah.
Like major guests I forget about.
Yeah.
There's moments that I'm like,
really want.
We said that? We did that? Like,
I was saying this on a show recently where like I like getting interviewed because I like don't know what I think about anything until you ask me. And I'm like, oh, I don't know. Let's figure it out.
Right.
And like I want to hear from fans. Like I'd love to see like voicemails and things that you think that were great that I'm sure we don't even remember.
I know
that's
what's fun about it. Like the things that I take for granted where I'm like, I don't know, that was just like an episode with John 5-10 years ago. That's the people like, that's the one that saved me when I was about to jump off the bridge.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Yeah.
Okay, tell me what happened.
Yeah. If you got any stories like that, we're going to make fun of you. But like, send those in. Like I love to hear from anybody. Like, it's cool just to have that part of your brain like, oh, I didn't even think about that. Yeah. So, and
it's a little bit of a weird spot because I am always of the school of thought that it's better to let other people talk about you. You know, there's nice things to be said. I want to hear it from fans or people that consume because then it means more. When you're saying it about yourself, it feels about your own show, it feels a little self-serving. At the same time, I often, anytime I really do speak up about the show, I am kind of doing it in the name of like you and the people who made it, where I'm like, you guys deserve the respect and the recognition of what went on because there's like a lot of work that went on behind the show and a lot of things that we kind of pushed through. So I'm just saying this as a disclaimer, like clearing my throat that like over the next few episodes we might be, sucking our own dick about some things here and there, but and that sound, that can kind of come off obnoxious or annoying, but I do it in the name of like knowing how much it took to get to where we got and do what we did. Took a lot of work, took a lot of effort, a lot of ups and downs. So I just want to make sure that gets its proper due. So it's not just like it's more about recognizing and kind of honoring what went into it. That's all why we're going to talk about it. So should be a fun month. We'll still do, regular topics and conversations. It won't just all be this all the time because that would be a pretty silly way to wrap it up. I think that would be a little repetitive, but we'll certainly have moments, a little segment of each show. And you get, I was debating about how long to do this. I think a month is about 4 weeks, a couple episodes each, 8 episodes to say goodbye is enough time, but not so much that it becomes this self-aggrandizing nonsense. So we'll say the thank yous and the goodbyes and all that at the end. We don't need to do that now. It is the holiday week though, so we're 1 episode this week. We'll be back to regular schedule next week. And like we said, send in anything you want to be highlighted or remembered. And maybe we'll have a couple guests come through. little reunions of some sort, and we'll have a good time to wrap it up on a good note and put a little bow on it. This podcast is brought to you by Fair Harbor. I'm wearing Fair Harbor right now. It's one of my favorite new button-up jacket, shacket shirts. It's kind of stretchy, very soft. Love the material, love the color. I got this in 3 different colors. I got the crew necks in a couple different colors. I have a corduroy, I have a brown and blue corduroy button-up. Fair Harbor has all the essentials you need. If you dress like me, you just want like staples that look sharp, but you're not trying to do too much. You just want to look good on a daily basis with clothing that fits well and is comfortable and looks stylish. That's what Fair Harbor is. Also, they use recycled bottles. 37 million plastic bottles have been recycled to make Fair Harbor's clothing. So you are helping the environment, you're helping your wardrobe, and you're helping your wallet by doing it all through Fair Harbor. They have the Horizon pants. Those are money. They're 100% office ready, and they have a little bit of stretch to them. So if you're, traveling or running around, you're all good. If you want to look good in the boardroom, you also look sharp. They have the Dunewood flannel, crazy soft, yet very structured, really easy to layer, perfect for this time of year. They've got it all. They've got stuff that feels like loungewear, but looks like office wear, and it's all affordable and helps the environment. So head to fairharborclothing.com. That's Fair Harbor, Harbor, clothing.com. Use promo code KFC Radio for 20% off your full price order now through November 30th. So you got to get it in this week. That's fairharborclothing.com. Promo code KFC Radio for 20% off your order today. More so, it's also like now on to the next shit. John's got a new stand-up comedy career, doing TV shows and
Speaking
sketches.
of that, doing 3 more weekends with Bert.
I had a feeling that was going to happen. I didn't want to say this because I don't want to jinx it or whatever, but I just know both of you, like dumb meatheads, that I was just like, these guys are going to fucking click. And I could see a world where Bert is just like, let's keep bringing Feitelberg,
obviously that was a Make-A-Wish weekend for me. That was a Make-A-Wish week, I guess. And never in my mind did I consider for a single fucking second that it would go any further than those 2 weekends. And then last Sunday night, I was saying goodbye to Marcy, who's the tour manager.
Yep.
And I just gave her a hug and I thanked her for everything. And she's like, "We'll see you again." And I was like,
"Will you?"
What the fuck is that? No, you won't. I don't think I'm ever getting invited to this shit again. And I gave Bert a hug and told him, I love you. Thank you so much. Whatever. And he's like, "Nah, we got to get you next year." And even that, I was like, "You're just being nice, whatever." And then last night, I got an email to do 3 more weekends, 2 in January, 1 in April, in same type deals. Like they'll be, I can tell you the exact dates. I forget them, but
bro,
you'll hear about them.
What level of a cosign that is? Because we joked with him a little bit backstage. Where I was like, "What were you going to do if this sucked?" And he was like, "Oh, I would have loved it."
Yeah.
But you wouldn't have invited him back. It would have been like, "I'm going to make fun of you for these 2 nights," and then good try.
Yeah.
The fact that he's like, "Come back out," not only means that the material and the performance is up to snuff, but that they want you around. And those 2 things, I think, are like a hallmark of what we have done, where it's like, I think we're pretty funny and there's some talent there, but I think that we're just enjoyable to be around.
Yeah,
and that's a lot more than some of the people in the industry can say, where it's like, yeah, you're talented, but you can't just hang, So I didn't want to say it, and I was wondering if you thought about it at all, but I did think there was a chance.
Until Marcy said, "We'll see you again." I was like, what is she talking about? And then
because of all of it, by the way, even the content, you playing basketball with him, lifting weights, that funny picture you guys posted, that's good for business as well. It's not just the shows, it's everything. That's good for you. I think it's good for him. I think there's a lot that can, you guys can still do.
This weekend, I actually was Thursday I did fine. Thursday I had a good show. Friday I did bad. Really? Friday I had a bad show where it's like the bomb. I think I would tell you I bombed.
Yeah.
If you want to
regular
do a
people
lie
probably wouldn't
detector
even
test,
notice.
People were laughing. It was fine, but I was in my dressing room after it, literally talking to myself like, you should go home, you fucking loser, you fucking idiot. You done having playing cosplay? You done playing cosplay, John? You fucking moron. To the point where the security guard outside my dressing room was like, yo, bro.
Oh, you were literally saying it out loud? Oh, you're crazy. I thought you meant you were having those thoughts.
No. To the point that when I walked out of the dressing room, the security guard who's out front was like, hey man, I just wanted to tell you, like, I thought it was a good set, and like this is a bad crowd. Like he's like, I've heard that complaint before. I've taken elevators with, he started like listing comics. He's like, they've said it's a bad crowd. So like, I just want you to know that. And I was like, don't think that was the case tonight, but I appreciate you telling me that. And the reason I did really bad, I think, is because Bert made me do new stuff. He was like, your stuff's good. You gotta try more stuff. But
that's good.
And so I went out there and I was like stumbling around my words. And then Saturday I was like, fucking get out there. And I like Saturday in Indy, I think I had my best show. And then Sunday I had a good show in Peoria. And like now I'm like Bert is helping. Like a lot, where he's like taking the which I didn't
from one
expect.
Of the goats.
Where he's like, that's what I was like. He's like, you gotta try this here, flip this, flip that, and I think I'm this week at the start of this past weekend. I was like, you're so stupid for coming. Like you should have just gone out on a high and enjoyed the experience, and then whatever. Right. And then this weekend he kind of made me work more, and by the end of the weekend I was like, oh wait, I'm much better right now.
I mean, if you think about it in terms of sports, it's like in your rookie season. If you're a real talent, you're going to have games where you explode for like 40 points, but you're not going to do it every night.
Right.
and for the most part, you're probably going to end up averaging like 12 a game, but you'll have a couple where you score like 4. Yeah. You'll have a couple where you score 40. But
I'm also
you're learning, you're also playing with LeBron. Like you're going to learn and get better by doing it. So
I'm learning a lot about like how to write jokes. Cause like I still have the same 5 topics I did in Hartford.
But just presenting it in a different way.
No, now they're like each topic has like 10 more jokes in it, and it's like, oh yeah, this is how it works.
You load it up.
You keep saying things, and you hear it get a laugh, and you go, oh, we'll keep saying that one,
right?
And then you say it again, and you like
that's like building an act. Yeah,
you drop the 2 that didn't get a laugh, and now you say this one, and then you add one, and go, oh, that got a laugh too. So now it's got 4 tags on it,
and then you think about like something happens in the news, like you have that WNBA segment, like there's gonna be some WNBA news, there always is, and maybe that slide, she did buy a house or whatever, and then the joke gets better because of just the world around you.
When I did that bit in Indy. In a Caitlin Clark t-shirt, and
much different.
It ended up being like that was a 1-minute bit before Indy, 2-minute bit, and in Indy I think I did 6, and then now it's a 4-minute bit because I was like, oh, I realized laughs in that, so now they keep here. I understand to someone who's done it, I probably sound like a literal person explaining how to ride a bicycle, but like that's what's happening.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's logical, but it's not in the sense of like. When you just watch how it literally grows and changes, like actual length, and
I'm going, if I push the next forward, then I go forward more. like,
you turn the handlebars and it moves. It's very cool. It's also like it's in this sense you're not trailblazing, like you said, you're doing something a little more traditional, and you got a guy who went ahead of you in a major way. He cleared the whole fucking path for you. It's a lot easier, I think that I don't think we realize how much like kind of. Original grunt legwork we did in our world. Where you kind of come into one there's already a blueprint. Probably gonna be a lot not easy to do that thing, but easier to follow the path. So that picture was very funny, by the way. So fucking good. You guys are just such meatheads. It's great. I love that the mirror in the back. Like you guys just look. Like that was altered, right?
I don't know. That was the picture sent in the group chat. And I get
the fact that you can't tell if that's how big you are or if it was enhanced is insane.
Rhea called me yesterday morning and she's like, is that picture fake? And I was like, I honestly don't know, but I can't be the guy to be like, hey, look pretty fucking good. Is this AI or something? You know what I mean? So okay. Hey, guys, you see how fucking I'll say this. I've seen that before. I think I'm looking smaller. Like that? I think I'm smaller up. I think in that picture I look 230, and I've been 230. I don't think I am right now.
This is incredible. This is incredible because when I first saw that, was like, that's a real picture. Then I looked a little more and I was like, that's got to be enhanced, but not comically so. Like if you did that to me, it'd be like, you don't look like that.
I think it might be like touched up.
Yeah.
I think it might.
But like Kyle, and I don't know who the fourth guy was.
Alex. That's Bert's trainer.
So they looked normal. Like I wouldn't have looked at them and be like, that's fake.
Yeah.
That was just like regular bodies. You and Bert's like traps were fucking crazy. But also, if there were two people that would be real, it would be you fucking meatheads.
I'll say this. I
can't believe that we don't know if do you know how crazy that is that he doesn't know? He doesn't know? I would know if my body was altered. The fact that you're like, I might look like the strongest man in the world, maybe.
I've again, like I think I'm 230 in that picture, and I'm not 230 right now. But at the same time, we just did. Like we
just worked out.
We had literally just done like a max bench workout.
So
like
you might be all puffed
we were
up.
as swollen as we could possibly be.
But so if you look at the picture, there's a mirror behind you guys, and your back doesn't look like.
I'm not flexing my back.
Yeah, but like, so this is why I don't know. But like,
I really can't tell.
I can't tell. But there is a part of me that's like, here we go. Like, is your back as big as your front is there?
I can't tell, but I'm not flexing any back muscles, so I don't know. My back would just look nothing. Like I'm flexing everything in front.
Yeah. I thought maybe your traps would look bigger from behind.
Maybe.
Because that was, so when this first popped up, I just was like, these guys are fucking huge. And then somebody was like, somebody forgot to AI the back as well with the mirror. Like somebody pointed out the mirror, and I was like, oh yeah, okay, maybe that is. I thought I was going to get.
That might, again, I don't know the answer, but I don't like, I'm not flexing.
Why don't you just fucking do it right now, bro?
What?
Just fucking pop the top and flex. I'll tell you right now.
My thing is, I do not look like that. Like, maybe I look like that after benching for fucking 45 minutes.
You know, when you flex, you look different than if you're just standing there. I was
the
worried.
question is, do I look like that on a daily basis? No. That's not.
But the fact that it's like, could you look like that? Like, if you flex and work out and all that? I was worried about this because I posted it on my Instagram because you particularly look like that jacked kangaroo.
I always look I'll say this. People call me the jacked kangaroo.
Okay.
People who see me shirtless regularly go, here's my kangaroo.
That was so funny. I mean, I will say this. People call me the Jack Kangaroo. I don't want to brag, but they call me the Jack Kangaroo. So I
live with a person who sees me shirtless all the time, and she goes, "Here's my Jack Kangaroo."
And then Bert looks like the gorilla, which is funny because if you've seen his new act, he's like actually turning into a gorilla.
Yeah.
So all you guys look like the fucking jacked pit bulls and cows and bulls and all that shit. And so I posted that, and then when there was some chatter about like, oh, that's AI, I was like, oh, I'm going to be like, I thought you were going to be like, you fucking idiot. You thought that was real. So I was like, I'm going to get fucking clowned. I think the fact that you were like, I don't know, maybe is like, okay, now I think I'm back on the right track. I think it is real.
If I had to guess, there have been some enhancements, but
not crazy.
The
like I could see that being like a little bit puffed up, but if you were to take it away, you guys would look pretty much the same. Whereas like if you made me look like that, it would be like, yeah, that's not at all the real thing.
I would say if I had to guess, that picture got like a magazine treatment.
So just like a little touch up.
Like there's some enhancements going on, but I honestly, God, I don't know.
That's incredible.
I have looked like that before. I don't think I look like that right now.
Well, but more importantly, so that still picture, the still shots are very funny. But then, like, there's just the footage of you guys putting up fucking weight.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I guess...
That was, dude, we did, like, max bench where we got up to, I forget what I did. I think I did 275 3 times or something like that.
Jeez.
But then we worked our way back down. And then when we got to 135... I repped that 25 times.
Kept going?
Which was, like, I didn't think I could do that anymore because that's what I did I did it at 40 at the combine. Yeah. But so doing it 25 after all that, I was like, never mind, I still got it.
Yo.
I might have lost a little weight lately, but I can still fucking move shit.
I texted him. I was like, you're the strongest man in the world. And he was like, I'll tell you what, Bert's stronger than me. I was like, fine, you're 1 and 1A. Like, you guys are, I really believe but I think it's a testament to how much negative self-talk has been on this show, because so many people were like, I didn't know Feitelberg like lifts and does that. I was like, yeah. It's like the strongest, like can lift the heaviest weight guy that I have ever met. And there are like tons of fans out there being like, I don't know, I just thought he like falls asleep with chocolate. It's like, well, he does do that.
I do that,
but
I'm tired from exercising.
yeah. I mean, that's the stuff where I'm like, I think, Bert's gonna be like, I need my lifting buddy back. Like, bring him out on the road again.
He would say that a few times too on the road, where he'd be like, I forget you're famous. Because like when we walk in somewhere, like 5,000 people yell Bert, but 5
you also get
say
some-
Feitelberg.
yeah, right,
And
right.
he's like, I forget where he was. He's like, I forget you're famous too.
Yeah. No, all that stuff matters. You're a good locker room guy. It goes a long way. You can be on the team a long time,
That's what Biz says. Biz is like, the only reason I had a 9-year NHL career is people like hanging out in the locker room.
But if you couple that with the talent, it's like that's when you got a very big opportunity in front of you, I think.
I think so. Being invited back really made me go, all right, I can do this.
And then, so now think about what you've done, how well you've done without truly believing in yourself up until now.
Yeah.
And now you get that cosign. Now, not only does it mean that Bert helps you and invites you along and all that, but now you are operating as a guy who's like, I tried it and it works.
Yeah.
And then you get confident, you get cocky, then you probably get a little too overconfident, you got to get knocked down a peg, and then it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, and you just keep going. That's the fun part. That's cool.
That's you saying that exactly is bang on. Where I was thinking about that over the weekend, where it's just like, yeah, all you gotta do is just keep getting up when you fall.
Yeah,
that's it.
So many people,
That's all you have to do.
People
like,
don't get up
up's
after
easy.
the first knockdown. They get
I thought
down.
that's when I thought it after Indy. When I did well at Indy, because literally before Indy, I was like, I'm not gonna go up. I should quit. I actually even asked Catherine. I was like, can we switch? Because I went second in Indy, and I was like, can we switch? And can you go second? I'll go first, because I wanted to go first because I knew Bert wasn't gonna be out for that, and I just didn't want him to see me ever again.
Wow.
And I didn't.
So you were going through it. Yeah.
And then Catherine just. Like Tim, who is another manager on the shore, the fucking man. Tim and Marcy are the best.
Yeah.
But he just kind of came and got me, and he's like, "All right, you're voice of God tonight." And I was like, "Oh fuck, that means Catherine's going first, and that means our whole plan's thrown off. That means fuck, I have to go second. That means Bert's gonna see me, son of a bitch. He's gonna and I did really well that night, and I was like, and then I got off, and I was like, oh, I just got to get up again. That's it. In that case, when you look at it like that, it's the easiest fucking job in the world.
You can get punched in the face all you want.
Yeah,
just keep getting up.
Dude, I just get up again.
Well, it's what I said. We were saying about I'd rather the pitcher who gets called up is good, then has a shit show, terrible outing, and then bounces back. So
Yeah.
now I know you can do that.
Right.
That's an important part about it, to be like, I know I can eat shit and it's okay.
Yeah.
All of that stuff builds confidence. And if there's one thing I've learned throughout all of this waxing poetic about age and experience and wisdom and all that is it's 100% confidence. Like the whole world is about if you are like, this is gonna work, like maybe not perfectly or right away, but like I know this is a good plan and I can get there. Like that's the only shot that it will ever work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think there's a lot more to come now. That's awesome. That's fucking great to hear.
It's all in the South too.
Yeah?
I think it's like where are they here? I mean, I'm not gonna read them all because honestly, it's a lot. It's 12 shows, so it kind of sounds silly to read out loud.
No. That's what comics do, bro. When they get on these podcasts, they plug. You got any dates? I'm going to be in Wisconsin on the 13th. I'm going to be in Michigan on the 14th. I'm going to be
Huntsville, Alabama, Columbia, South Carolina, Charlotte, North Carolina, Augusta, Georgia, then Dothan, Alabama, Tampa, Florida. That one's going to be nuts.
I was about to say, if you get to do Tampa with Bert, holy
Tampa's
shit.
going to be fucking insane.
Wait, when are you going to Augusta? You said April?
Augusta, Georgia, January 18th.
Oh, I was going to say, if that's some sort of like Masters type time in April, that would be fucking crazy.
And then, just check BertBertBert.com.
You got to start doing, like, we got to get you a website and shit. You got it, but that's what I mean. Like,
anything for me is a year away. But you
know what I mean? Like, in saying what we were just saying about, like, there were certain moments in KFC Radio where, like, if we were thinking about it more, not about Barstool and our paycheck, but, like, what should we do right now for us? Like, you should probably start operating like a comedian and do the things they do.
Yeah.
More of a singular, it's not just Barstool. It's like Feitelberg and, like, all that sort of stuff. You got to start.
Dave will love that.
I know. I know. That's tough.
Yeah. No, I'm not doing that. Just to be clear, I'm not doing that.
We'll cut that. All right. We'll see you guys next week. Have a good Thanksgiving.